Hello there, welcome to Inquiring Minds. My name is Doug and I'm back with another Pen Resurrection Sunday video. Today's fountain pen resurrection isn't so much a resurrection, but a reclamation. This is an early 1960s Sheaffer Imperial Triumph Touchdown. I found it in an antique shop in Port Hope, Ontario, while traveling last month. I've been looking for a Sheaffer with the classic PFM, or pen for men, inlaid nib for years. I was gifted this 1970s Sheaffer Targa, which has the distinctive inlaid gold nib by my good friend Ron. It belonged to his dad Dennis. It's very beautiful, but as was the trend in the 1970s, very slender. Introduced by Sheaffer in 1959, the PFM is a much thicker pen with a wider grip and has the snorkel filling system. Sheaffer then slimmed the PFM down slightly in 1960 and created the Imperial, which has the Touchdown filling system. This one had been previously serviced with a new sack for the Touchdown filler, but it had been obviously neglected for years and required some love and attention to make it shine again. I'm pleased to say it is now loved and will be well used for a long, long time. See how I made it right again, right now. And this is what the pen looks like right now. But I did shoot some video of how the pen looked when I bought it and what I did to breathe new life into it. So let's look at that video right now. So I suspect all this Sheaffer Imperial needs is a good cleaning because this Touchdown filler seems to function correctly. It sucks up some water, and so I'm going to just take it apart to make sure, inspect that sack that's in there, and show you how it's put together. Take the cap off and we unscrew the barrel, and there's the sack protector, and we're going to grab a little bit of gripping material here and protect the nib, and we're going to pull this apart. It's been slightly crimped right there, but it should just pull right off. There we go. And the sack protector is in really, really good shape. And that looks like a new sack to me. So this pen has been restored to working order, and that nib is in excellent shape. So all this pen needs is a good cleaning. So I'm going to put this in an ultrasonic bath to get any old crusted ink out of that nib, and then I'm going to give the cap and barrel a polish. We should double check to make sure this is functioning okay. To take this apart, I put a slim slot screwdriver down the barrel, because that's a slot screw at the end. Once I've grabbed a hold of that screw, I can give that a turn. There we go, and that screw should come out. There it is. And then we can take that cap off, and then you can slide the pneumatic sleeve down through and inspect it. And the maintenance piece on this is this small silicone O-ring just there on the inside of the barrel, and that too looks like it's been replaced, because the original is usually black in my experience with these Touchdowns. So that's a new silicone O-ring. That's important to maintain the air pressure seal of the pneumatic tube. Leave that off of there while I polish this up. So into the bath for you, and into the polish for you. So here's the cap back from its bath, and I've ultrasonically cleaned this and polished this section. I might do a little bit more polishing around here. There seems to be some abrasion there, but that nib has come up beautifully. And here's the comparison. Here's the barrel that has not been polished yet, and here is the one that has been polished. So we'll do the same treatment to the barrel now. So now we just have to put the pen back together again. So we put the sack protector over the sack and give it a push. There we go, easy peasy. Take the blind cap off and drop the pneumatic slide with the screw in it down through the barrel. It sticks out the other end. Screwdriver, and then we just screw the cap back on the end of that pneumatic slide. Just finger tight. There we go. Slide the barrel back on and put the cap back on. And there we go. All we have to do now is ink it up. Here we go. Open up the blind cap, pull the tube, put the nib in the ink, and push. I hear bubbles, and we wait just a few seconds. Allow that sack to fill up. Well, I'm very pleased. Beautiful pen. Now that I have it writing again, I'll go over the parts and features, show some size comparisons, and do a writing sample. And after the writing sample, I'll share my thoughts on this reclamation. But first, a little history. Now don't give me any of your lip and pay attention. There may be a pop quiz later. I mentioned earlier that Sheaffer introduced the Pen for Men, or PFM, in 1959. Yes, Pen for Men is sexist. Well, it was 1959. You know, when men were superior and women were objects and inferior. You know, back when things were great. For those of you that don't get it, that was called sarcasm. Look it up.
Like that foreign guy at work who helped me understand sarcasm.
Nice day we're having.
Oh, yes!
What?
He said nice day, but he covered with rain.
So?
So he said this when your brain know it's not really a nice day.
All right, lights out, ladies.
It's funny because we are not ladies, we are men.
Shut up.
The PFM was a snorkel filler. When you unscrewed the blind cap, a tube extended from the feed and you dipped that, not the nib, into the ink and used the touchdown filler to fill the pen with one stroke. Screwing the blind cap back in retracted the snorkel, and there was no need to wipe the nib with a tissue. Sheaffer slimmed the PFM slightly and removed the snorkel to make this model the Imperial in 1960. It was considered a budget pen compared to the more expensive PFM. The PFM was expensive to manufacture as well, and Sheaffer dropped the line by 1968. The Imperial was discontinued in the 1970s, but Sheaffer brought it back in 1995 as the Triumph Imperial, and then issued the Legacy, a modern recreation of the PFM. Then in 2001 came the Legacy 2, and in 2003, the Legacy Heritage. Even though Sheaffer isn't the same company that it was, they still market the Legacy Heritage fountain pen. I personally feel the Sheaffer PFM Imperial Inlaid Gold nib is the most beautiful nib ever created. Yes, the Waterman Carène, Waterman Edson, and the Pilot E95S are rivals for that position, but the PFM Imperial and Targa are hard to beat, in my opinion. Although this pen is not a PFM, it does have cap and barrel markings unlike any Imperial that I've been able to identify. Imperials that had gold-filled caps and bodies like this one were called Imperial Triumphs. Sheaffer seemed to love to confuse customers by intertwining their names for things. The Sheaffer Triumph nib looks like this. So this is no Triumph, but it is an Imperial Triumph, if you follow.
You follow?
But the PFM gold-filled cap and barrel pens, called the PFM 6, had two cap variations. One had 8 grooves with 2 extending grooves just like this cap. Since this particular Imperial Triumph was made in Canada, and Canada had a habit of making pens with unusual variations, perhaps that's why this is an Imperial Triumph with PFM markings. Perhaps one of you Sheaffer aficionados out there will know what this might be. I'm going with it being an early 1960s Sheaffer Imperial Triumph Touchdown. Overall, the pen is medium-sized. Here it is with a Pilot Metropolitan for scale. From the top, we see the flat round finial that tapers into a rounded square and then into a circle again further down the cap. The gold-filled cap is engraved with 8 courses of 8 lines in varying lengths. 4 are short and 4 are long, with the long courses having 2 lines extended even further. One there, and on the back side there's 2. All of the courses end about 1/4 of an inch from the end of the cap, where it is engraved Sheaffer, made in Canada. The spring-loaded clip sports the Sheaffer white dot, denoting the Sheaffer lifetime warranty, and it has an elegant curve and is about 2/3 the length of the cap. The seamless transition to the barrel has a slightly longer gap before the 8 courses of 8 engraved lines continue down the barrel, with one course not starting until about 2/3 the way down the barrel, making an area that can be engraved by the owner with a signature or initials. The barrel tapers down to a seamless transition to the blind cap, which tapers down to another squared circle to match the top of the pen, and the bottom is flat. This is just exceptional design, proportion, and beauty of line and shape. The cap snaps off, revealing the single most stunning part of the pen, the 14-karat gold inlaid Sheaffer Imperial nib set against the piano black, long tapering plastic section. Let's take a closer look at this nib. This is what a classic fountain pen looks like in my mind. Elegance and beauty. The gold against the black is just stunning. The nib is engraved with Sheaffer's 14K and a registered trademark symbol with USA engraved vertically down the posterior point. And I believe the feed is ebonite. I showed you how the pen comes apart at the section, but it isn't designed to be unscrewed like that. I had to heat it slightly to get the section off. The nib and the section can be disassembled, but it isn't an operation I'm willing to perform on this pen, as it's functioning perfectly now. The inside of the cap shows a liner to seal the nib. The cap posts deeply and securely, and the pen is in exquisite balance when it's posted. You can write with the pen unposted, but it feels incomplete until you post that cap. In line, shape, balance, and feel, it is elegance personified, and when I write with it, I get the feeling my handwriting will come out looking like John Hancock's.
I'll sign first. John Hancock.
Hey, come on, John. You took up practically the whole page.
But it tends to look more like Shakespeare's anyway. Now let's look at some size comparisons. Here's the 1960s Sheaffer Imperial Triumph Touchdown with a 1950s Sheaffer Craftsman Tip, a 1970s Sheaffer Targa in brown Ronce Lac, a 1960s Parker 61, and a Pilot Metropolitan. Now let's look at them posted. And here they are posted. The Craftsman has a 14-karat gold number 33 Sheaffer nib and has yet to be resurrected. Now let's look at them unposted. And here they are unposted. Now let's look at some measurements, and I'll be back with a writing sample. And we're back with the writing portion of the review. This is Clairefontaine 90 GSM paper, and this is the 1960s Sheaffer Imperial Triumph Touchdown. And it has a 14-karat gold fine nib. Let's check the wetness. This is a very, very wet pen. It's lovely and smooth as glass. I said when I was doing the first writing test with this nib that I thought it might need some work on it, but after writing with it for a while, no, it writes beautifully. It didn't need any work at all. And today's ink is, of course, Waterman's Serenity Blue. As to line variation, well, you tell me. Look at that. This nib has a lot of bounce to it. Let's close up on that and see that bounce. This is different than the Targa. The Targa is a little bit more solid. It's by no means a flex, of course, but you can get some line variation out of it very nicely. And this nib makes a 0.5 millimeter line, which makes it a Western fine or a Japanese fine to medium on my Richard Binder line width chart, which you can find linked in the description below. And for our quote: and for some reverse writing, it's quite a bit drier, and a little bit more feedback, but it actually works not too badly. And for some quick writing, no issues whatsoever. So what are my thoughts about this incredibly beautiful 60-year-old pen? That I found it at all is thrilling. That it works and needed just a little bit of attention to make it new again is amazing. But because I found it in a lovely little town while going to the theater, visiting with some very dear friends of ours, imbues the pen with significance, and I'll treasure it as something special attached to a beloved memory. The pen itself is a vintage gem, but it writes like a champ and easily competes with some of the best pens in my collection, including my Pelikan M800, and yes, even my Delta Dolce Vita 2. And there you have it. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that bell to get instant notifications whenever a new video is posted. You can join as a member of my channel for only 99 cents a month, and I guarantee I'll answer your comments in the comment section, and you'll get cool emojis, badges, and sneak peek unboxing videos as well. And that just leaves it for me to say thank you for watching. And that's all she wrote.
I made this.